people. Big up Dan Potts for the raid. Yeah, we got a lot to discuss, man. And we're live by now. Dan's part of the furniture. You know already on Fridays, I'm either on his channel, he's on mine. We say, my guy, one love for the raid, and we got a lot to discuss, broski.
Loads to discuss, bro. I've just been chatting it with my chat. Big up to the chat, everyone that's raided coming over. Big up to you for having me. I'm excited for this one because I'm genuinely interested to hear your thoughts, because there's a lot of discussions around how people are feeling right now, DG. So I'm going to be interested to get the chat's opinions and yours about this. There's a lot to discuss, bro.
Yeah, and you teed it up nicely, man. Let's we hope Noni Madueke can get assists in just how you've done that. Where do you want to start, bro, man? Like, do you want to start with any potential positives? Do you want to start with any potential negatives? Do you want to start with what this might mean? You know, the fact that we've signed him and not Eze and all the other guys walking through the door and then him. Where do you want to start, Dan, man? Honestly, I don't know what to say to you, bro.
I'll start with some positives. There ain't many, but I'll start with some positives. First of all, we finally got backup for Saka. He's an upgrade on Sterling and Nelson. And I don't actually think he's as bad as what people make out in terms of the actual player quality, right? I'll go there. Now let's come to the negatives, and there's quite a few, unfortunately. First of all, the negative is actually nothing to do with Noni Madueke. It's our fans that decided to abuse him. That is a negative in its own. Let's take it away from the pitch for a second. This guy's a human being. He's a young kid at 23 or 24 years old. He's a professional footballer that's coming into Arsenal. This has got nothing to do with Noni Madueke. This is Arsenal who wanted to sign him. Noni Madueke wants to come to Arsenal because they're a great club. I've got nothing against Noni Madueke. If you have something against this signing, do not come and abuse this guy. In fact, don't abuse him anyway. But my point is, do not have and take your anger out on a footballer that is coming to play for Arsenal. That's the first thing. The other negatives and about concerns I have about this signing are as follows. I don't think it's a priority signing. I think it's an unbelievable amount of money to be spending. And that worries me because it could affect what we do in the future on other positions we clearly need as a priority. Striker, left winger, attacking midfielder. I also don't really know where this leaves Ethan Nwaneri. And I also don't understand how we can't have enough money to go to £5 or £10 million more to get a striker, but we can lump 50 plus on this guy. This makes no sense whatsoever. When it comes to Chelsea, there is an unbelievable amount of players that we have bought and we just do not learn. Do not learn. I do not understand why we go up to Chelsea, take one of their squad players. This is number 8 or 9 now in the last 7 or 8 years. We're in a position where we've not learned that squad players at Chelsea ain't always great. We've given them close to 200 million over those 8 or 9 players, and we have done nothing with any of them. Now, I'm not saying we're doing nothing with Madueke. Madueke's got to be given a chance to wear the Arsenal jersey, right? But this has to work. This has to work. This has to work more than Kai Havertz has to work. Because this is yet again, on top of the bad signing we made, and bad money we made, and bad purchase we made for Havertz, this is another money signing that's coming in. They ain't going to be on mad wages, but ain't going to be on low wages by any means. That's now going to be put on that much money, and we put that much money down for him. I'm sorry, this is got to work. So there's now massive pressure on Noni Madueke. There's huge pressure on Mikel Arteta already, even more so now with the signing of him. Now, what I will say as well, lastly, is I do not understand why we would need to keep a good relationship with one of your toughest rivals. I do not understand why you would want any form of relationship with them, whether it's good or bad. I do not understand why we want to be gifting £52 million for Chelsea to allow them to go and get Morgan Rogers, because that's who they're going to get with that money. Why on earth?
And offset the João Pedro stuff. And we saw Kudus go to them lot down the road for 55 million.
Brother, 55 million at the moment has got you Elanga, has got you Madueke, has got you Gibbs White, has got you Kudus, and has got you João Pedro. The last on that list in terms of quality is the one we got. Now, I appreciate and understand that the players might have wanted to go to Chelsea or Spurs ahead of Arsenal, not because they're better, but because they're guaranteed first-team football. I can hear that. But it's our job to sell the project that they will be playing. And we've done that to Madueke. Madueke has gone from being a squad player at Chelsea to becoming a squad player at Arsenal, and he's cost 55 M's. This is the equivalent of allowing Fabio Vieira to be leaving Arsenal because someone's bidded 50 million. Ain't going to happen, DG. This guy was 28 mil 3 years ago. He's done nothing to cement a first-team place at Chelsea. Not a bad player. I think he's all right. That's as far as it goes for me. Good squad player. A good squad player should cost 25, 30 mil, not 55 mil. This is a bad signing for me. And if this does not work, Mikel Arteta will be shown the door. He'll have to be.
Dan, I echo a lot of what you said. The first thing I would say to this is I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. I don't think it's a market opportunity or anything of that ilk. This is something that, and again, we all know, like, when we're linked with players, we sign them, they then come out and say we've been looking at him for a while. So if you know you've been looking at him for a while, as you said, just make it work and make it happen. I don't want to hear any excuses. The first thing I would say as well, kind of piggybacking off what you said, rightly so, whatever we think about the player, we're allowed to have, if you think he's the guy, great. If you don't think he's good, great. But once it borders in over to abuse and DMing the guy and writing him off, as you said greatly there, he's 23, he's a human being. Fans of our football club love to cry about values and all of those things. We're not really adhering to that. I don't disagree with everyone's allowed their opinion, but you've got like 2,000 people making petitions and doing the most on social media. That isn't nice, because God forbid if it goes the other way, we'd be the same people preaching about mental health and looking after people and whatnot. From purely a footballing point of view, I've got past the point, as me and you have done a few streams, I've personally got past the point of getting at the player now. You're not buying yourself. You didn't put a gun to anyone's head. I can't begrudge you. If Chelsea have made clear you're not going to get football there and you're coming to Arsenal, fair enough. It is what it is. Personally, and I know all managers lie, Dan, but he has to have been told he's going to feature prominently. We all saw how last season played out. Saka's injury, Saka needing depth, needing people off the bench, all of that stuff. So cool. You've got undoubtedly a right wing backup. I don't share the same sentiment. A lot of people are saying like it's an upgrade on Sterling and all of that. I mean, of course it is, but Sterling didn't need upgrading on. He was a non-starter in our season anyways. I think at this moment in time, the only level raiser I believe we have is Zubamendi. You said it greatly there. There's pressure on Arteta, and I think there's always going to be pressure in the Premier League and playing for football clubs. But Noni Madueke, Gyokeres if he signs, Zubamendi, all of these guys, they're not really going to have time to settle. Like, I personally think the fans are going to have an unbelievable amount of a civil war. I'm not sure on the wages, but logically speaking, Dan, if a man's 23 and he's probably signing a 5-year deal, he's probably going to get something significant. I don't know how. I see how he features in the squad personally. I don't buy the left wing stuff because he looks stronger off the right. This is why I want Eze, because I think Eze is better than him in those roles. If he is to play on the left-hand side, I think he's played 11 or 12 games as a left winger. Now, I hope this is a masterstroke, right? But he's played 11, 12 games as a left winger. That isn't a bit good enough case study. The numbers, the fact that he'd be off the left. If we sell Trossard, obviously he's not really at this moment in time an upgrade on Trossard. In the same way we let a couple of players go and brought in Norgard. So we are plugging gaps. It's more of the illusion of what he can be. One thing I do give him is that, I do think he's good on the transition. I do think he's a good ball carrier. I do think he does have the habit of getting into the box at the right time. Maybe a left winger on the left-hand side, left-footed crossing could be good and give us a new dynamic. But for me, Dan, I think this is all summed up with what we do beyond this point. If bringing in Noni Madueke for 50 million, which clearly this ain't no snap dash thing, they were planning this. If this affects you bringing in Eze, Gyokeres or whatever, this is where my issues are. Even if you get Gyokeres and Madueke, I don't think we've listed the levels. Me and you have spoken about it before. We'll get into Rodrygo, but that's a non-starter for me. You now need to get Eze. It needs to look prettier. Now I can understand that, signings are not going to happen the way we want in it. Like it might have looked a tiny bit better had Gyokeres come through the door, Rodrygo, this one and that one. But for me, it's about what you're doing. And like you said there, if you're going to direct anger at anyone, it has to be Mikel Arteta, because this is another guy with unproven and unrealized potential. And I remember Arsene Wenger always used to say at 23 years of age, you're not the finished article, but he more or less used to say kind of what you see is what you get. Like, you're not going to see too much development in that regards. And I think we're betting on too much. And I think where you look at our attack, am I wrong for saying, Dan, like, apart from Bukayo Saka, he answers a lot of questions. Well, he gives us a lot of answers, but there's more questions than answers. Like Trossard, Martinelli, Noni Madueke, Marino, and Kai Havertz, if they play up there, they're not obviously bad players. But if we want to be a team that gets over the line, we need to know you're getting double figures. You're getting double figures. This striker is doing much. The others are chipping in. I'm scratching my head around it. They have to make it work, Dan. Like you said there, for me, you have to make it work. There's no excuses. You have to deliver next season.
Listen, Mikel Arteta's got to deliver with or without this signing.
Exactly.
That's the first thing, right? The second thing is you've just made things a hell of a lot more pressure for yourself because people are questioning yet another one of your signings, whether you like it or not, believe how much he has. He has definitely had a massive say in this. Now, people talk to me about stats. I put in something earlier on Twitter. Madueke's stats. That's what I put in, right? Because I don't know what his stats are. I couldn't care less. I use the eye test, not just stats, right?
Exactly.
And the stuff that's coming out suggests the following, right? I'm not going to share it all because there's so much here, right? It suggests that when it comes to XG, shots and touches, runs that lead to shots, sprints, sprint distance, and dribbles, he's one of the best in the league. It also suggests that the only player in Europe that is similar to Saka in terms of stats is Noni Madueke. It also suggests that when it comes to roles ranking the inside forwards, only Elise, Saka, Cherki, and Barcola are better than Madueke when it comes to the inside forward role, right? The other thing it suggests is that he could be one of the most promising talents stat-wise in the coming years. It also proves that with his 20 goals and 7 assists in his 90 matches, that he's seen as a very good squad player. And it also suggests that in the 8.8 touches that he has in the opposition box per 90 minutes, only Salah gets ahead of him in the Premier League. So when you read it like that, you think, wow, the other stats are suggesting that he wins in every single attribute ahead of Mohamed Kudus by some distance. So when you paint it out, it's an unbelievable signing. But the eye test is better than stats. This guy's got to deliver. You can't put him on the same bracket as Salah's and Saka's and this guy. This guy's nowhere near achieved that level on an individual basis. Salah's won trophies for Liverpool individually. Saka's carried us across the line in games individually. And he's done it in Champions Leagues. Noni Madueke has not done that. And he's the same age as Saka. And he's behind him. Now, look, I've got no problem with Noni coming into Arsenal and absolutely smashing it. And the only thing that can save this now is that we bring in the players alongside him. Because if he comes in ahead of the others, there's going to be riots, DG. Riots, bruv.
And they've, you know what, the club, whether I like it or not, they've committed 52, as it says there, 52 odd million quid on a 23-year-old. Now we can argue, we all know that's an outrageous fee. Chelsea are laughing. We love shopping in Chelsea's basket. And we know there's an element of British tax and longevity and really 50 million being the industry standard. But that tells me that you lot have, whatever we stepped into this summer period with, it was centered around committing 40, 50 million on Noni Madueke on top of what other hopes you look to do. This isn't goosebumps. Now, as you've been alluding to, I hope he won't be the first nor the last player that's quote unquote written off or we're not sure about. We hope he signs for the club and he smashes it. We give everybody support. You get positives if you do well. You get critiqued if you look shaky. But it has to work. And like what you said with the stats here, I do think there's been an element, maybe even from myself, there's been an element of overdoing it. I think if he was, we can't do the ifs and buts thing, but if he wasn't signed from Chelsea, if he wasn't 20, if he cost 20 million, if we did the other business, if we wasn't frustrated, we might be looking at it this differently. I just think, and you know me, Dan, I love the young players and the players of tomorrow and potential and all of that jazz. But we are at that point where we need to get over the line. And that is what I did like with, I know these guys aren't anything to write home about, but Norgard signing his age, Kepa's age, more so Zubamendi's age, potentially Gyokeres. They're 27, not 97, but they're kind of here right now. And I just think with Madueke, it's not a great signing. He's not as bad as we make out, but there's an element of unrealized potential. And we've got a couple of these players in our squad already. We know Miles Lewis-Skelly's great, but he's only scratched the surface. You know, me and you have spoken about how we see Wanyeri. Obviously, Martinelli, people have given up, but there's an element of him not getting to the other line. There's many gears to go up with Declan Rice. I kind of want more sure bets. I want to see players walk in that raise their level. If you do all of those things, then if you want to commit 50 million to Madueke, great. I also want to ask you in relation to Arsenal. Do you think much has changed? Because people are actually starting to get at Berta now. We've ripped up Tomiyasu's contract. I'm not saying that was the wrong thing to do, but that's something we've previously done. And we're still shopping at Chelsea. It's the second Chelsea player this summer. Like, do you feel anything's changed in that regards? Because we're still doing the same processes, essentially.
DG, nothing's changed. And I'll tell you why that is massively important and massively interesting now. When there's new people coming in and the same things are happening, you have to look at the top.
Exactly.
So I'm going to let this window play out. I'm going to let it play out because I've got no other choice. I've got no other option. I'm going to assess it on the 1st of September. I'm sure we'll do a show talking about it.
100%.
When we assess it, it'll be interesting to see where our either fingers to point to blames are or where our fingers to point to praise are. Because right now, I can't see what Andrea Berta has done since he's come in. Now, I'm not saying he's rubbish because I really rate him and I was excited when we got him. But right now, I do not see anything changing. We've brought in 2 more Chelsea squad players. We've brought in a backup for our defensive midfielder and a replacement for Partey. And we linked with attacking players. That's it. We've still not got the deal over the line for a striker. We still don't know if we can actually get the left winger we want over the line. And we still don't know what the structure of payment means with Eze, who's our attacking midfielder. Now, if these players come in, that's 8 players. Arteta's got no excuses go win the league, right? But we need to get to that stage yet. Now, Andrea Berta, a lot of people are saying, getting on his case and saying, what you're doing. I don't think it is just Andrea Berta here because I don't believe that any signing so far that's come through the door has been Andrea Berta's identified player. I think he's got them across the line because that's his job, but it's been Arteta asking him to do it. He's walked in the door and Arteta has said, I want Zubimendi. It's before your time, but it's pretty much agreed. Cool, I'll go get it done. Jorginho and Partey are leaving. I've identified the Brentford midfielder that's been playing here for a while. I don't know anything about him. He's pretty good. Okay, Mikel, I'll go and get him. He's gone and got Norgard. That was an Arteta signing from Romano's words. Then you look at the signing of Madueke. Arteta said yes, long-term target of his, Noni Madueke. That is not an Andrea Berta signing. Now, if we manage to get Gyokeres, that would be a Berta signing because he steered us away from Sesko.
Yeah,
if we managed to get Rodrygo, him working his magic, selling the project, that would be an Andrea Berta signing. Now, you can say it's alongside Arteta, for sure, because he's the manager and he's got the final say on transfers. He said that and he's quoted that in his interviews, unless he's a liar. I think Eze, Rodrygo and Gyokeres now, along with Mosquera, who we link with still at Valencia, centre-half, I think would all be pointed more towards Andrea Berta because they are the signings I think he's worked alongside Arteta with together. I don't think that other players, from what we understand, we can only go by Romano, he knows more than me, have had much to do with Andrea Berta other than saying, okay, Mikel, I'll go and get him for you. So I'm interested to see out of Gyokeres, Rodrygo, Eze and Mosquera, how many get done via Andrea Berta. Now, it could be, and I still don't know this, DG, that they both have joint 50-50 powerful voices at the club. But I would be surprised if Arteta's voice isn't more powerful because the Cronkies believe in this guy. And Andrea Berta, let's be real, it wasn't Arsenal no longer want Sesko. It was we want Sesko, but we can't really afford to go that high. There's a price limit. There's a price limit. We're going to move to our second target. Andrea Berta has said, well, let me try and make that second target Gyokeres. So I think it's really interesting how this window pans out for how much praise and how much criticism will be pointing towards the owners and the board and the manager.
I think the most important thing is what you've kind of indirectly been alluding to. While you could, be frustrated or find some optimism, and I want to make clear that I don't think Madueke is the guy, but I don't think he's as bad as people make out. We kind of, to a degree, have to let this thing play out until September the 1st. And as I keep tweeting, I'm sure you've seen, what we do beyond this point will sum up everything because I don't want no copium. I don't know. I think we need upgrades because at this moment in time, is he an upgrade on Martinelli? I hope he is, or naturally, I hope he's a Martinelli because, I think this is a good signing. Not a good signing, but I can kind of console myself with the fact that it's depth. 50 million on depth is crazy, especially if you can't make things happen. But for me, hindsight's a wonderful thing. it doesn't scream to me that you're better than Martinelli, even though Martinelli's been doing nothing to write home about, and Trossard the same. Or are you one of the same? To which we're going to see the same thing next season, surely. No, assuming he's going to play off the left hand side. In that you've got 3 players, don't really know what you're going to get from 5, 10 plus games. Whichever one's in great form, you kind of ride that form wave until it falls off. Like, for you, is he better than Trossard and Martinelli?
No, I don't think he's better than Ethan, if I'm honest. I think
Yeah,
Ethan Nwaneri, the eye test tells me that Ethan Nwaneri is more direct. He's more intent. He's got a better strike of the ball. He's got a wand of a left foot. He scores more goals. From outside the box, he looks to shoot. He's got more intent. His end product is better. I think he's got as much flair. I think he's as good a dribbler. I think he's got more of a future. So I would say Ethan's better. Trossard, I think, is clearly better because he's an experienced player who's coming as a squad player, and that is exactly what we're bringing in Madueke to try to be. Trossard is already that. And I don't see how Martinelli and Madueke have got anything. I don't see how Madueke, has got anything over Martinelli. I've not seen Madueke, with that finishing ability and end product in 22-23 got 15 goals. Yeah. I have to say, I don't think that he is better than anything that we've got. And I've got to be honest with you, DG. If he comes in as he's our left winger, I don't know what Arteta and co are doing. I have no idea why we do it. But it wouldn't surprise me. And do you know why it wouldn't surprise me? Because we've played party at right back sometimes. We brought a centre back and played him at right back. We brought a left-sided centre back and played him left back. We brought a left midfielder through and put him at left back. We put a number 6 in Rice at number 8. Put a number 8 up top twice. This ain't. I
know God might go up there. You never know.
Well, this isn't like news if he comes in with a different position. Mikel Arteta doesn't like to bring in players that are right wingers and play them right wing. He likes to find them a new position. Now, some managers can do that. Arsene Wenger did it with Lauren. He was a right winger. He put him into a right back. Kolo Touré was a striker. He made him a centre back. There's unbelievable amounts of quality that Arsene Wenger has done. Mikel Arteta is trying to do this. He's failed so far with every player he's tried to chop and change, other than Ben White. I don't understand how you can look at new positions for players that have been playing there for years and have understood and nurtured their game into be that mold of that player. That's the reason you've bought them, because they've been smashing it at that position. Why are we bringing in players and putting them in different positions? It makes no sense. So for me, I hope this is just the backup to Saka and we don't care about money. It's enough. Cronkies have learned. Berta gets who we want. Arteta has said enough's enough. This is the year. 350 to 400 million spent. And all of them are coming in. I don't care how much they are. That's what this must be, because it can't be the other.
And Dan, my thing is, like when I move away from Madueke, I don't want to even pile on the manager. The manager, cool, get everything you want, so there's no hiding place, and make sure you deliver. Because if you get Madueke or nobody, or we woke up and Rodrygo's here, you got Lionel Messi, great. But regardless, you need to get over the line. I want to ask you as well, like, do you think we're doing that weird thing where we're making business decisions? Because I don't agree with spending 50 million. I'm going to ask you another question after we answer this. I don't agree with spending 50 million on him. But Trossard's been linked with Fenerbahce, and we might sell him for 20. So if we sell him for 20, the true cost of Madueke probably ends up being about 30 odd million quid. Do you think it's one of them ones?
See, I look at it a little bit differently than that, right? And I'll tell you why. At the moment, we've got Trossard and Martinelli, Saka and Sterling. I see Madueke as the Sterling replacement. And if Trossard goes, I'm looking for our left winger to replace him. I don't think Madueke is a replacement for Trossard. If he is, then that means we ain't getting Rodrygo, Madueke and Martinelli, and it will be Saka and Nwaneri. And then we'll look at potentially Eze and Odegaard. So we'll have cover, but it won't be nowhere near the quality. And this is what I was saying on my stream earlier, DG. People don't get this. We need bodies. We need bodies. No, we need quality. We had bodies in Sterling's and Willian's. I want quality. Reliable. Now, there's 2 ways you can get that. You can either go and get your backup, and you can do it this way. We got Saka, we need a backup. We got Martinelli, we need a backup. So you can do one of 2 things. You can go and keep Martinelli and bring in Semenyo and say you're the backup to Martinelli, or you're starting and Martinelli's your backup. Or what you do is you go up to the striker situation and say we're bringing in, let's say, Mateta. He's backing up Havertz. Or you go and get Gyokeres and Havertz as your cover. And I think we need to go down that route. I don't want to keep our 11 the same and bring in backup players. I want
level raisers and they become squad players by default.
Precisely that. I want to bring people into the first 11 so that our first 11 now becomes our squad players. Not all of them. You obviously keep the side likes of Sakas and Salibas and Rices, yeah? But for me, everybody in that team should be like, right, I think I'm a starter, but I'm not sure. What I do know is that if I've got the jersey now, I better play well. I better play well because I've got this guy behind me. And Ethan ain't mucking around, and Eze ain't mucking around. And, you know, I've got Kai Havertz, who I know the manager loves. And I've got, you know, what's the name? Kivior, who's come in and been brilliant for us so far. Calafiori's been bought for 40 million euros. He likes him. Ben White's there. This is what we need the squad to be. Not, oh, well, we're bringing a couple of squad players and then they might be able to do something if someone gets injured. No, that ain't what I want to do, man. Like, that's why I was not for the Norgard signing. And this is why I hope that we get an unbelievable amount of quality being brought in. Because Tottenham...
yeah, unfortunately, 2 very good signings in the last 24 or so hours.
And they're going all out for Adam Wharton because they've got 300 million being piled in by this Saudi Arabian guy. So they've got 300 mil to spend and they've only spent 111 of it on...
And they will get some outgoings, maybe a Romero or whatever, so there's more money to play around with as well. Like Chelsea, actually.
They're going all out, apparently, for, what's his name? Adam Wharton. That is a brilliant signing. They get Adam Wharton.
Wish we had Saudi money.
I mean, seriously, that's a serious signing. Adam Wharton alongside Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White.
Level raisers for them. And they got Kulusevski and all of these guys. What do you make of, like, because one thing that, like, it's not even to do with Madueke, because as I think everybody said, I think if I isolate him and we do the other things, I don't want this. I don't sanction spending 50 million on him, but it is what it is. I give him a chance. I don't think he's as terrible. And I think a bit of the overreaction is our frustration because of the targets we've been linked with, because of it's really, let's have it right. It's sketchy where Mikel Arteta's attacking signings are concerned. But cool, if I part that to the side now, I'm tired of bringing in players, mainly attacking players, where it's like we're squinting. Like, he's obviously not a great player, but he's not a bad one. He's an England international. He's playing for Chelsea. He's a professional footballer. But we're squinting and we're doing the ifs and buts. If we can get something out of him, it's not evident quality. Like, what do you make of Mikel Arteta's apparent, like, saviour complex? Like, I can get a tune out of him type of thing. Because I think we need to move away from the romance, and it's just neither good nor bad. It's just competence. Are you a level raiser or not? Simple as that. And if you're not, boy.
Facts. Look, there's been an Ornstein bomber, so I'll let you bring that up while I come in on that. Look, I think Mikel Arteta needs now quality. It needs to be quality for me. I cannot be dealing with seeing any more players that are coming in and we're being told, like, basically, we're in a position of squad player. I don't want any more Sterlings. I don't want any more Nelsons. I don't want any more Fabio Vieiras. I need to see top quality now. That's what I need to see. So I don't think Madueke is top quality. I'm happy to be proven wrong, and I hope he comes in and absolutely smashes it. But let's be real. There isn't really many that have come in and absolutely smashed it that we didn't think were going to. Maybe Aaron Ramsdale could be one, but he ended up leaving because Rayo was better than him. You could say that Gabriel, although I loved him and thought he was quality, there is obviously content of me going, you bozo again. Because he made bozo moments. He's now proved a lot of people.
He was a young centre-half at the time.
Exactly. So this could be one of those cases where he comes and proves a lot of people wrong. But if I'm honest with you, I don't believe personally that we're in a position to be bringing in any more players that we think might do okay. We are at the stage where it's win now. Players that come in, they better be ready to win now. That's all I'm saying. The Ornstein thing was about Gyokeres, by the way. So I don't know if you want to bring that in when we start.
Yeah, I got that. What I wanted to ask before we get into this, apparently, well, I'll read it out. Viktor Gyokeres does not intend to report back for pre-season training with Sporting as he pursues a move to Arsenal. We have heard that before. The 27-year-old striker was given an extended break by the Portuguese champions amid ongoing talks about his future, but he was absent on Friday's delayed return date, and despite being required to rejoin the squad on Saturday, has told Sporting president Federico Varandas he will not play for them again. Gyokeres feels betrayed and believes Varandas has gone back on a with apparently him being allowed to go for 60 million euros plus 10 million, which Arsenal have already surpassed, but still no agreement is in place on the fee. Arsenal are working to land Gyokeres and have a 5-year deal prepared, subject to the clubs reaching a compromise. The Sweden internationals prioritizing a move to the Emirates Stadium over other possibilities, and Arsenal focused on him as the preferred option to strengthen their front line. And we all know he's joined Sporting from Coventry. We know Kai Havertz right now is the player there. Before we get into him, yeah, there's a question that I've seen some people asking. Why does it feel to you like, obviously, we look at what's his name again, Madueke, and he spent 50 million. Why does it seem like we're quote unquote prepared to overspend for a player like that and move aggressively? But then you look at someone like Gyokeres, who, you know, often tell me your thoughts on what we just read as well. We're kind of haggling over 5 million, where you can see evidently how he is the level raiser in his own way of what me and you want.
It must be a Chelsea Arsenal thing, bro. Because the only times that we go all in for a player and get it done is Havertz and Madueke. How much do you want for Havertz? 65 done. How much do you want for Noni Madueke? Over 50, 52 done. But when it comes to Gyokeres, the player we actually need to upgrade and lift our first team, it's like, we'll give you 62, 63 or 64. We ain't giving you 70. Why? Eze, 68 million release clause. We'll give you 60 over 3 years. Why? What's going on? Why do we have to go in straight in, all a whack, full whack for the Noni Maduekes and Havertz of this world? But we're not after getting it. It's like when we got Declan Rice. Havertz got done. Boom, 65 M's, 290k a week. Rice, we're still haggling around how much we're going to pay over how long. Then it comes to Eze, 60 million. Easy. 68 million release clause. That's easy. Gyokeres had the release clause. Easy. But the one that we see easier is the one that we're lumping loads more money on, Chelsea. I don't get it. It makes no sense. Just like the Havertz cousins, man. This happens all the time, bruv. This is a madness. So
they must be cousins, man.
Cronkies and these players come in, bruv. That's the only way it's not a madness is if we bring all 3 of these players in. Gyokeres, Rodrygo, and Eze come in. No complaints from me. Otherwise, them 3 don't come in. I'm questioning what the hell we put 54 million down on the table for Madueke, bruv.
And you're right. And the thing is, I'm not a fan of scapegoating anyone or just piling on anyone, because I think there's multiple factors and the whole club is not serious. Unfortunately, I think Arsenal Football Club, it kills me to say it, I think as a collective establishment, we'd like to win. We're not dying to win. Because I think if you're dying to win and end the trophy drought and maybe win your first Champions League, you don't do certain things that me and you have spoken about and everybody's spoken about today and in general. So I'm gone past the point of Madueke, like, or anyone, because again, if we want to be a team that's just consistent top 4, we've got enough. If we want to get over the line, we all know what we've needed to do. We all know what we needed to do last summer. Appreciate you for the super chat as well. In your heart of hearts, yeah, do you reckon we actually get Eze and Rodrygo and Gyokeres in addition to Madueke and what else we've been doing? Or like, where do you see that kind of panning out?
Listen, we have to, DG. We have to. Because you can't tell me now that we ain't going to get them. Because we've just spent £52 million on a player that some say we don't need, that isn't better than Ethan Nwaneri. So it must now mean we're getting Eze, Rodrygo and Gyokeres, because there's no way you can justify not getting one of them. Now, the only way that we don't get Rodrygo is if he chooses somebody else when he leaves, as if he leaves Real Madrid. It ain't going to be Arsenal can't afford him, because we've just lumped down 52 million on Madueke. It's clearly stupidness if we haven't got enough money to get all these 3 players in now. And I'm expecting, alongside Mosquera and Kepa, alongside Zubimendi and Norgard, I'm expecting Madueke to come in alongside Eze, alongside Rodrygo, and alongside Gyokeres. Now, of course, I'm talking tongue-in-cheek. We ain't getting them. But that's what I'm expecting now, because we've been told there's a £350 million transfer kitty. That adds up to 350 with them 8 players. Mikel Arteta needs to win now. Andrea Berta has been brought in to get the players across the line. So get them in. I personally think we'll get Eze and Gyokeres. That'll be it.
I think we'll get Gyokeres. I'm a bit and ahhing with Eze. And for me, you know me, I want Rodrygo. I love the Brazilian players. He'd be a talisman. I just think there's too much variables that have to fall into place. It does feel today, like every day that goes on, maybe Real Madrid force him out. You hear he's available. Some reports say he wants to leave. Some say the final decision's with the player, right? For me, I think Eze is a more realistic target. If rumors are gospel, he apparently is open to signing for Arsenal. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He's got a release clause. Unfortunately, where Eze is concerned, as we all know, it comes down to the money. Rightly so, Crystal Palace, especially if they go and sell Wharton and Gurhey, are going to tell Arsenal to shove it. If how we're talking about paying the fees, excluding a release clause, is not making sense. We've shown it going back to Torreira, let alone Zubamendi and everyone else. Will pay over your release clause if you let us stagger the payments in some sort of way. Premier League clubs might not necessarily go for that. With Madueke signing, I more need you to go and get Eze done. Go and get Gyokeres is without saying, right? But Rodrygo's a pipe dream. I need you to get Eze done because, again, if I just assume on one hand, Eze is only going to play left wing, he's an evident level raiser. You're better than Martinelli out there. You're better than Trossard out there. You're better than Madueke. You're probably better than all of them off the right-hand side. And we all know he can play in the 10 and the 8. I need level raisers. I think everybody understands we're not going to see 20, Galactico kind of players come in, but we have to raise the level. And where you really break it down, fair enough. Defensively, I think Arteta's had a fairly decent record with our defensive recruits or whatever he's done defensively. Gabriel's worked out, Timber's worked out. Fair enough, Lewis Skelly was homegrown, but he's come. Ramsdale got a lot of heat. He did well. We upgraded with Raya. We kept it kind of moving, right? Midfield, it's been a bit mixed. I think of all the Chelsea players, Jorginho was probably one of the best ones of recent memory, whether we wanted him or not. Rice is a world-class 6 and he's doing his thing as an 8. Odegaard had a bit of a wobble, but 30 million. All right, cool. And I'm actually quite bullish about Zubamendi, which at this moment in time, Dan, for me, that's the only level raiser. Like, that is the only guy. And I don't know if he's going to do that from the jump, innit? Then I look at the attack. That is where it's hit and miss. That is where we're carrying too many players. That's where I want my Gyokeres. I know you're getting X amount. I've got my Saka. I think Eze can go and do that out there. I need that, really and truly. And I don't know if it's going to happen. So for me, I would love Rodrygo, but I'm on this just get Eze through the door, get Gyokeres through the door, tie off any other loose ends, start to move with outgoings, and then just monitor the Rodrygo situation. And if you can get it done, great, but don't get twisted. Go after Rodrygo. If you can't get him, I couldn't tell you, Dan, who we should get, but there must be, that tells me there's scope for another left winger or a wide option in addition to Madueke and Eze anyways. So go and find me a more realistic target. I know we've been linked with Anthony Gordon, give or take here and there. Nobody don't expect that to happen. We've been talking about Rodrygo. Like, I don't know where we go from here. But again, Dan, am I wrong for being frustrated in the sense that where we look at up front, where we look at left wing, even going back to when Martinelli had that great season, a lot of the frustrations with Arsenal fans is because we've known we've needed to do this last year or for years. Like, we've not learned in terms of recruitment and all these things coming into this summer. Surely we've been saying this for a number of years now.
I would accept any of the following players in these positions. In the number 10 role, I would accept Eze or Morgan Rogers. On the left, I would accept, obviously, Rodrygo. If it's not going to be Rodrygo, I would accept Lookman. Up top, I would accept Gyokeres, Isak, Alvarez, or Osimhen. They are the only players I want to see coming into Arsenal. I don't want to see anybody else. They're the only names I want to see coming into Arsenal. And that, I think, gives us what I believe a great opportunity of winning the league. That's what we're ready to do now. It ain't about coming in and bringing in a couple of squad players here and there. Madueke needs to be the last one of them. I don't want to be seeing anybody else coming in that's like, oh, we might be able to give a little bit of competition. Nah, they improved the first team. Yeah, they improved the squad to a level where you think, wow, that could be a serious competition there for this position or whatever it be. Otherwise, it's like, what? So he's going to sit on the bench. Brilliant. Get excited. No more Norgards, no more Mosqueras, no more, Maduekes. I need to see now elite coming through the door. And look, I don't know if this is true about Real Madrid. I don't know what's happening with Rodrygo staying or going. No idea what's happening. But this is the one that we need to now lift the fan base with, in my opinion.
I think you're right, man. You touched on it. Would Lookman have been a better option than Madueke?
100%, bro. 100%. Lookman is cooking. He's cooking in Europe. Hat-trick in a Europa League final with Atalanta. I think his goals and assists speak for itself. He's been cooking. He's wanted by a lot of clubs, apparently. I would have gone for him 100%, and I think we would have got him for 52 million as well from Atlanta. So I don't know why we're not doing that. It must be, for whatever reason, that we wanted to be looking at Madueke and Eze over Lookman. And that, for me, has to now work.
I don't think, I can't, Dan, I don't know what to say. It just has to work because
Do you like Lookman?
I don't.
Do you like Lookman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love Lookman, man, because you can play on the left, you can play off the right. You're ready right now because I'm gonna back Madueke all the time, but it's like there's unrealized potential. Now, obviously, there's a question mark around Lookman. You know, he hasn't done it in the Prem. Yes, you can, if you're shameless, you can run the Prem proven stuff with Madueke. I do think there's some upside with Madueke, but Lookman, he's got that point to prove, a bit like Gyokeres. I'm not saying Madueke don't, but a bit like Gyokeres. When you left this country and you're coming back, there's question marks. You know, you're significantly a better player. He's kind of win now mode. Personally, I think almost irrelevant from this season where I look at Madueke. I think the club are looking at it that I don't buy these rumors that his wages, that he's wherever he's on at Chelsea, have stayed the same. I think within the next year, 18 months, 2 years, they're probably looking at, again, form can dictate if these guys stay or go, but we all know Martinelli stagnated. He's on a lot of money. I think they're looking at engineering him out. I think Mikel Arteta likes Kai Havertz, and I'm not trying to diss Kai Havertz, but naturally he's on a lot of money. Obviously, his role, he could have another role in midfield and have a facilitative role. But again, as we get better and people start to grow and we get better players, they might be looking at moving him on. And then obviously it feels like Trossard's going to be the one to go this summer. So I do think that factors in with Madueke, but I just need Mikel Arteta's hit to miss ratio. Like even with Madueke, a fit Gabriel Jesus is probably better off the left hand side. Lookman, for me, I would have been like, okay, we can work with it. I don't know how true it is yet, but I've seen some people in the chat just now and in general, they've said that Noni Madueke doesn't actually count as homegrown. I don't know how true that is. I thought he was English.
How can he not? Is it because of what? Because he was in PSV or what?
Yeah, I think so. I think he went there at like 16. I think he turned down a scholarship with Spurs, went PSV, and then obviously he's ended up at Chelsea and now he's here. But so I don't know how true that is. But I do believe it because we got a cup tie goalie last year. So anything could happen.
Man, this just makes it even more random then, doesn't it? I mean, let's be honest. If it doesn't even count as homegrown, look, I don't know how much he's on. Apparently, according to Don, he's heard that he was on 55 at Chelsea and he's agreed to stay the same and come on 55 at Arsenal. That's what I'm being told. I don't know if that's true, but that's good like wages for him because obviously we don't want to be putting him on a bloody 200 as well. That needs to be sorted out, our wage structure for Berta. That's a big job for him now. But I've got to be honest, Lookman would have been a really good option for us. Anthony Gordon, I think, would have been a better option than Madueke, but he would have probably cost more, if I'm honest. But in terms of the actual price, I'll tell you what, in terms of the price, I'd rather have had Kudus. I'd rather have had Lookman. And I'll go one further. I'd rather have had Semenyo than Madueke. So I think those three would have been better than Madueke. I really do, bruv.
Kudus would have been lovely. Like, obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And ultimately, you know, where Kudus has gone now and where Madueke is, we obviously hope Kudus fails. And I hope that, you know, Madueke plays to the standard where, you know, I can simply say, that's why Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are professionals in their industry. That's why I'm chatting shit on YouTube. But we've been linked with Kudus before. We know he's a quality player. We wanted him at Ajax. And I don't think, and again, clubs can't live or die by fans' decision, yeah. But I think if you got Kudus, I think a lot of fans would be a bit more giddier. And you can see he can play as a 10, he can play off the left, he can play off the right. With Madueke, obviously, my hot take is I think you might see him play through the middle on occasion, if I'm completely honest with you, because he does have that knack of getting into the box at the right time. He is good on the transition and he is a good ball carrier. It's not pretty, but I think he could do that. I just think it's too unproven. Now, we back Madueke all the way. What do you make of Palmer being linked with Fabio Vieira? Because you indirectly touched on it. I do think as much as Berta was brought in, you know, with his reputation at Atletico Madrid and all of that, I think people need to remember he came into football with a financial background. Now, as Dan eloquently put, there is a remit, like with last season, to get some money in and fix up the wages and things of that ilk. And I don't think anything's going to change this year. What do you make of Fabio Vieira going to Palmer and the need for outgoings at the club?
Let's get him gone. Let's get him gone. The problem I've got, DG, is we ain't going to get money for these guys. And anyone expecting us to be bringing up 150, 200 million, it ain't going to happen. We'll go through the players that could quite easily go. Cole Hine, he's not going to get us much money. Zinchenko, few million, yeah. Zinchenko, hardly any money because he's on mad wages, right? Kivior looks like he's staying, but I am seeing reports that he wants to go to Italy and play first team football. Probably the one that can get us spare money, right? Probably get 30
or maybe loan with option to buy then, because the Italian clubs are going to say, "Oh, we ain't got no money."
Exactly. So I'm. It's calm if you have to do that, right? But that's the way. Lokonga, oh, dear me, not going to get anything for him. Yeah, you're going to get seriously about 5 to 8 million for him
if you're lucky. Yeah.
That's that. Fabi Vieira. Palmer are talking about 20 million euros. Is that the rumor? I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that's
mean,
about 15 M's. Like, just get rid of him. Just
they
let
might
him
even
go.
say loan with option to buy.
Yeah, exactly. Marquinhos has gone. Tierney has gone. Partey has gone. Tomiyasu has gone. The only other players that we can sell are Trossard, who we believe could be available for around 20 to 25 million. Fenerbahce apparently interested, but that's cool today. Martinelli, but he's on mad wages, and I don't think
Yeah, so
anyone's
that's
going to be giving
redundant.
us the money that we want. So I think he's staying. And the only other player that people have forgotten about, who I'm hearing is going to be fit enough to pass medicals, is Jesus.
Swear down.
So that's what I'm hearing today, that he might be okay, not ready to start and play for Arsenal,
But
but
ahead of schedule.
he might be able to get into some fitness regime so that we can actually get him off and gone. And that's why people are saying that Gyokeres will be given the number 9 shirt, because Jesus will go to Brazil or Saudi. But we ain't getting much money for him. Let's be real. We're going to get about 30 million for him, tops.
If
So
that, yeah.
if that. So I'm looking at adding this up now, thinking we might not even get 100 million for these players. So we've got to get them gone, though, DG. They've got to go, man. They've got to go.
And that's the annoying thing. It's like we got to let players go, but then we got to bring people in. It kind of feels like a sideward step in that. Cool, you let Trossard go financially. All right, he's got a year left, but then you bring in Madueke. I don't know if he's an upgrade. You let 3 players go out. You bring 3 players in. I can't see the upgrades. Obviously, Partey's left, and with what came out after it, you know, it is what it is. Norgard's coming. I've got nothing against Norgard in theory, but it's not really upgrades. And again, it goes back to what we were saying at the start. And I will shut my mouth really until September the 1st. I haven't seen any level raisers. Zuba-Mendy is the only one I genuinely think is that. And obviously, you can caveat that with the man's going to need to be given time to develop and all of that jazz. And what you've been saying there with all of those players, yeah, like, we've never notoriously been good sellers. Like, I was having this conversation in my WhatsApp group. Could you imagine we signed Madueke from PSV, right? And he was here for a matter of 18 months. Now, I know Chelsea, Arsenal don't sell players to Chelsea. We've only sold them the good ones like Ashley Cole, etc. people. But I don't think we're getting 50-odd million, 52-odd million if the shoe was on the other foot. So if Berta can put us in the right direction and get us better at selling, then fair play. But you can't really see who's bringing in money. You do add that Arsenal tax. So you can't really make a case of offsetting, you know, any Rodrygo and all of that stuff with some potential outgoings, unless we've got a significant kitty, which rumors are saying we've got 200, 250, 300 million. I just want to know, is this what we was keeping the powder dry for? And this is the war chest and X Factor and all these buzzwords they come out with.
Bro,
Jarring.
about, you know, is this what we're expecting? Is this what we're keeping it for? This is why we haven't spent in 3 windows. This is why this window needs to be perfect, exciting. I was told goosebumps. I ain't got goosebumps yet. It's the sort of goosebumps you get when you get like a shudder or a chill or a nasty nightmare, isn't it? This is not goosebumps to get you excited for me.
Or a
Now,
brown letter from HMRC or something. That's the goosebumps we're getting. Like, that is that.
what
Like,
I mean.
letter you don't want.
That's what I mean, man. So I've got to be honest. For me, I don't have hairs on the back of my neck yet with Madueke and even Zuba-Mendy and Norgard. I like Zuba-Mendy. He's by far the best signing we've made so far. The others, not so much. Kepa is very meh. Norgard is very meh. And Madueke has caused absolute meltdowns in certain sections of the fan base. Up top, it's got to be Gyokeres. It has to be Eze in the 10. And it has to be Rodrygo in the left. Then I'll start getting goosebumps for the right reasons. I ain't talking about goosebumps for these players coming in. And in terms of players coming out, we just need to get rid of them. The other player is Reece Nelson.
Completely
Just let
forgot
Reece
about
go
him.
and play Reece go play his football somewhere. I don't care where it is. I don't care how much we get for him. If it's 8 to 10 mil, just get rid of him. Get him off the wage bill. He's on 100K a week, this guy. Right? And I love Reece for obvious reasons. But he isn't quite the level we need.
It's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, if he has to go on loan again, okay, go to Leeds or whatever it be, that's fine. But we need to get him gone. There needs to be an obligation to get him. I can't be dealing with these players being just sent out on loan again. And these are all players that have been bought or kept by this manager and Edu, by the way, who people think are brilliant and have done no wrong. Fabi Vieira, Lokonga, Reece Nelson, put on stupid wages. You've got still players like Jesus, who we're trying to look at. Tomiyasu had to get his contract ripped up. These are all players that have been signed by these. So why are we still talking about them being at the club? Lokonga was signed in 2021, wasn't he? I mean, come on, man. Like, it's mad.
Did the Tomiyasu one shock you when we ripped up his deal?
Yeah, it did, but I'm happy. But it did shock me. I didn't expect it. Because I feel like, on the one hand, I feel sorry for Tomiyasu because it's not his fault. Injuries is never a player's fault. It can happen to anyone. At the same time, I thought to myself, look, we have to be ruthless here. And the club were ruthless. I felt like we could have easily done it with Jesus as well, by the way. Because when you've had 4 knee-ops and you've been cropped that long and you're on 265 a week, you've got to look at your future. And that's why it wouldn't
They don't want
surprise
to pay
me if
him out,
someone
though.
comes in. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Fluminense or Palmeiras or Flamengo come in for Jesus, because we're going to have to try and get rid of him somehow. He can't stay here. He can't. And if he's fit next season and he don't get injured, I like Jesus as a footballer, but he ain't going to be DG. He's going to be cropped again soon. So we need to try and get rid of him and get his wages gone. And that's the problem. Saudi and Brazil are the only place he can go, because Brazil is the only place he can sit there and say, right, I can take a wage cut here and go home and play some football. And Saudi is the only one that's going to get anywhere near to paying him that much money. No one's going to buy him in the Prem or Europe. We're stuck with Jesus, man.
This is the thing, man. Like, we've had this squad together for quite a long time, and to be honest with you, unfortunately, I think, when it's all said and done, there's been more like there's been nicer climates at our football club. There's been time where it's all doom and gloom, everybody out, we're on to everyone. Personally, I think there's a civil war with Arsenal fans about to develop going into this season, right? But I think we've continuously kicked problems up the road, needing a Saka backup, needing an upgrade on Martinelli, needing bodies, Arteta changing tactics and things of that ilk. Now we've left ourselves with no margin for error, man. I wanted to ask you, as where things stand, yeah, because I know the signings thing is only like hyping it to a degree, and I know where Spurs finished and all of those things. As it stands, yeah, I've got City to win the league, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, and Spurs/Chelsea for fourth and whatnot. Where do you see it?
I have Liverpool to win the league and go back to back. I have Manchester City to be in second, Arsenal in third. I actually, at the moment, have Chelsea fourth, just ahead of Newcastle. And then I think
Newcastle
after that,
as well.
I have no idea what's going to happen after that. I think that Spurs and Villa and maybe even the likes of, a surprise like a Brighton or somebody like that, I think will be fighting there after that. And then, yeah, for me, I think the top 4 and 5 is going to be that. I think the same. Newcastle and Chelsea just behind Arsenal, City and Liverpool. And with Liverpool signings, I think they go back to back. I still think they get Ekitike or striker. So, yeah, it'll be interesting for me. But a lot needs to change for Arsenal to be considered serious.
I don't think you're lying, man. And for me, it's nothing to do with Madueke or Zubamendi or anybody at the club. I'm going to sound hypocritical because I don't like to watch what other teams are doing, but naturally to a degree you do, right? So I always find myself, every signing we make, like, fair enough, squad depth in their own way, they can help you. But every signing we make in terms of game changers, how does that get us closer to Liverpool or City? I don't see how anybody but Zubamendi at this point does that. We're going to run through a couple of things quickly before Dan gets out of here, man. Apparently, L'Equipe were reporting a few days ago, William Saliba has received a substantial proposal from Arsenal to renew his contract at the club. Where are you at with that? Do you think he does that? And if you was him, would you do that? Or do you think he's going to wait on his hands?
I think Saka will sign, and I'm not sure if Saliba will yet. It really depends how much Real Madrid are in his ears, because I believe they'll be talking to him now saying, look, don't sign. Stay there for 2 years. See your contract out, but come to us on a free in 2 years.
Hey, man, Konate.
Yeah, Konaté, Trent, Mbappe. This is how they're getting players now. They're talking and tapping them up, saying, yeah, give it 2 years. Come play for us when you're 27, 26, whatever you'll be. So that's what I think he'll do. If I'm brutally honest, that's what I think he'll do. Arsenal then need to decide then if they're going to sell him or let him go on a free. Now, I could be wrong, and he could sign for us. And Real Madrid will have to come in with serious money then. I need him to sign, DG. I need him to sign. He needs to go on 300 alongside Saka. They both need to be put on 300 if Kai Havertz is on 290. If we've got money to do that, do it. I cannot be dealing with losing this guy.
How do you feel, speaking of new contracts? Apparently, Dalman wants to stay at Arsenal and talks already underway about a new kind of deal. And apparently, we're also confident about Nwaneri. I can't find the thing for the life of me. But yeah, Nwaneri as well has been linked with a new deal as well. So, like, does that provide some optimism?
I think both news is positive about... I think the news of Saka, Saliba, Dalman and Nwaneri is fairly positive. Saliba's the only question mark, I think. I feel like Nwaneri, if he wants first-team football, he should sign a new contract and then go out on loan. And somewhere in Europe might be quite good for him. Doesn't have to be a Leeds or a Burnley. He can go over to like maybe Napoli or Dortmund. But when I look at the scenario of somebody like Max Dalman, this is something that looks like a ridiculously special talent that's come out of a laboratory somewhere, bruv. I don't know how
Yeah,
you can be this good at 14, 15. So he needs to stay.
living the
Sign his
dream.
new deal, and we need to try and find a place for both of these kids, like we have Miles Lewis Skelly, in terms of how they can one day get there. It's going to be tough because of where Saka and Erdegaard play, and I think that Madueke coming in and Eze coming in is also going to give them question marks. But for me, these kids are young. We need to keep them happy. I am very excited about the futures of both of these. I don't think either of them are ready to play 30 or 40 games for Arsenal yet, but I certainly believe they've got unbelievable futures. So we need to keep both of them, man.
Need to keep both of them. Finally, I don't know if you saw on social media, but fans should have only protested, only no need to go overboard with threats. We don't advocate threats and vandalism. So I guess what this is alluding to, shout out Gooner Talks Football, shout out Ryan for the super chat earlier, by the way. Like, what did you make of the vandalism of the murals and whatnot, like the Banksy paintings around the Emirates?
There's a section of the fan base that are idiots, bro. Let's just say it how it is.
Always doing too much.
Base, every fan base has got them, and we go over the top. And the section of the fan base that get violent, abusive, and aggressive aren't really welcome at the club, in my opinion. Now, I can appreciate that people are questioning or they're upset or they're angry. I'm angry, but I hold it together. I'm an adult. Like, I don't go and put a load of abuse in people's DMs and start keyboard Tourette's with them all. I don't start abusing them. I don't start telling people that they're scum and that they're wankers and see you next Tuesdays and all this rubbish.
Doing way too much.
Way too much, and then they go and plaster it all over the murals. Now, people know where I'm at with the murals. I like some of the murals, and I'm not too sure about some of the others. However, I wouldn't go plastering loads of abuse over them. I wouldn't go, even if I don't like Kroenke, I wouldn't go and abuse, calling him all the names under the sun, throwing all paint all over it. I wouldn't go be saying Arteta out all over the Underwall tunnel. That ain't how you do things. So for me, I think it's ridiculous. And the people that done that will probably feel very proud, but they've, in my opinion, it's pathetic, man.
And one thing about me, Dan, is especially around Arsenal Football Club, a lot of fans love to talk about how we're a classy club and do things with class. And it's not even necessarily with the club. They kind of showed their hand in a few weeks ago. But keep yourself to those same standards, really. Like, you can't be jumping in DMs and abusing, damaging stuff. Just keep it football. Keep yourself composed. Now, I'm sure there's an element of people are like little kids in that. But for the grown men and women out there, to say you're moving disgraceful is an understatement. But yeah, man, let's hope by the time next week we'll be back on Dan's show, or well, Dan's channel, and we'll do the show on Dan's. Hopefully Gyokeres is through the door. Who knows? Rodrygo, and we might be a lot more upbeat about Madueke. Let people know they can find you, Dan, what content you got to come out in the rest of the day and all that stuff, my guy.
Come on, man. I just dropped a video. I've dropped a couple overnight, actually. One of them is quite a good laugh. It's Talk a Social with the Lissy's London boys. If anyone fancies a laugh, then go and try and watch Dan Lawless kick a football. It's actually bloody funny.
I saw you put that. Was it you who put that on Twitter? Someone put it on Twitter. I was like, damn.
D. Unbelievable, man. It's so bad. So, yeah, come show me some love at Football's 12th, man. And, I've just dropped a couple of videos over there now. So that's me done for the day now. I've got plans this afternoon and evening. So busy weekend upcoming as well, but I'll be dropping stuff. So, Football's 12th, man. And big up for having me, DG.
It's always a pleasure. Dan's a liar, though. Even if he's going out and going somewhere, you probably will go about your day, people, but you will see videos from Dan in some capacity. The man's always grafting. So go over there, subscribe and all of that. I know a lot of you obviously came over from his previous stream, which we appreciate, Dan, and everything. So, yeah, man, all I can say is Arsenal fans, feel how you want to feel, but remember that we can't really change anything. And let's hope tomorrow brings Gyokeres. Dan, enjoy your afternoon chat. I'm back at 1:45. And yeah, man, bless people. Let us know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Dan, done now.
Love.
In a bit.